Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour! Today we're going to be looking at my entire Collage Tarot and Oracle deck collection. I have been slowly getting into the process with sharing with you guys my tarot shelf. There are a lot of decks to go through, a lot of fun categories to go through. My collection is always like fluid, but I thought after years of being on tarotube that it would finally be time this year to slowly start sharing with you my entire tarot shelves. This is not the largest kind of theme or category in my tarot collections, but the decks that I do have are absolute favorites. Explain to you the kind of readings I like to do for each, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, so you get lots of mini reviews, and so that this way you can really find the Collage deck that is perfect for you. If you're new here, I want to say a huge welcome. My name is Maureen. I am a French tarot reader. In this channel, I love talking about everything tarot and oracle related, but I also have a second channel which you can find in the description box below, where I actually use all of these decks in tarot readings, pick-up pile, monthly guidance. It is called the Waves of Your Soul readings, so please go and subscribe, go and support me over there as well. This is where you'll be able to see all of these decks being put to good use in the description box. Because this is a smaller category, I will make sure to put all the names of the decks this time, as it's not too many. And before I get into it, I thought I'd share something quite fun. Because we're talking about collage, I wanted to share with you something that I got earlier this year, probably around January or February. I don't think I shared with you guys yet. A fun collage art book, because the beauty of collage is that it's quite accessible as an art form, right? We can all do this. I really enjoy doing some collage myself, and so this is something fun that I had found earlier this year. I wanted to share with you guys in case there was some of you out there who wanted to get into the form of collage. One of the fun things about collaging is going through your magazines, pamphlets and leaflets to find images, but if you don't want to do that, there are books like this that have collage images. This is one of them that I have found. I thought I'd share it with you guys. As you can see, a little bit of description about how to do the collage, like explanation, instructions, and then you will see we have tons of different images in this one, lots of different themes. We have people, we have hands, we have animals, and this is one of the best kind of collage art books that I have found so far. I love to thrift and like little magazines, reuse old magazines to find cute images, but I also appreciate sometimes the easiness of having something like this, especially if you're looking for a specific type of image, like, you know, 60s pinup, or you're looking for something a little bit more historical. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff there. I actually haven't been able to use those yet, because since I got the chikungunya, which is like a mosquito-borne illness, a few months ago, my hands are quite shaky, and so to do any kind of cutting, it is a recipe for disaster. So until my doctors and I can figure that out, I'm unable right now to kind of get back into my collage. I can't wait to get into this as soon as my hands are feeling a little bit better, and I wanted to share it with you because this is what's such a fun one. Like, look, there's so many cute images, and you can get those on your local bookshop or Amazon or whatever. Again, like, I love using old magazines and stuff. It's super fun to thrift and look for the images. I'll share with you in a bit a little collage oracle I did from myself, where I went through all of my old magazines and did it this way, but this was just so pretty, I couldn't resist, and especially all of the animals and all of the marine, like coral art form. This is so me. Okay, so that was my little intro. I hope everyone is doing good. We'll split the video between oracle and tarot deck, so there will be timestamps in the description box so you can navigate. Let's get into it. My entire collage tarot and oracle deck collection. Let's do this. Let's start with oracle decks, and I wanted to start in the line of what I shared with you in the introduction with a fun little oracle deck I made about 6 years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago, where I literally went through my old magazines and I literally cut and collaged it on top of old playing card kind of deck that I had. And so this is very DIY, this is very homemade. As you can see, it literally looks beat up, but I love it. It's definitely not looking like a pro. I probably should be putting some plastic on top and stuff, but this is just a fun little project I had, and I wanted to share it with you just to show you that you too can have fun with this kind of art style, that you too can enjoy it. So I know a lot of people would create beautiful collage and would end up potentially like putting them on proper cardstock and maybe even getting them to websites like print on demand. For this one, I literally found an old playing card deck I had, cut some images and glued it on top. It's not laminated or anything, but it was a super fun project, and it actually reads really well for me, this deck. Like, I've had it for years and it still slaps. So just wanted to show you a fun kind of project that you can do for yourself. You can have fun with this particular art form. Just wanted to share that with you guys. I actually have two sides to this little oracle deck I made. I have this particular side which is all collage with some keywords. As you can see, we have focus, patience, healing, etc, etc. I made quite a few cards, as you can see, and then I made some other cards where I just painted some watercolor background and wrote some keywords on them. So I have tons of keywords here, and that's how I like to use this deck. Again, once my hands are feeling a little bit better, I definitely want to get back into the joy of creating some fun decks for my own personal use. One of the most recent collage deck I added to my tarot and oracle collection is this one, actually, the When Olga Speaks Oracle by Sasha Lopez. This is a deck I had backed on Kickstarter. I'm not sure if you can buy this now or not, but I know that this creator is creating other decks. So if you like the style, you might not be able to get this one, but you should definitely still follow Sasha, as I believe she's working on other creations. This was created in the loving memory of Olga Miranda Fernandez, which is such a beautiful process, such a thoughtful process, and this is why it's called When Olga Speaks, as it is meant to be in celebration of her grandmother's memory, if I'm not mistaken. We have a beautiful guidebook in this one. There's lots of cool spreads. So on the guidebook it says, "For those who seek the voice of the elder," which is so beautiful. So really, this is a deck meant to help you connect with the people who have passed, with the people on the other side of the veil, and you can feel all the intention in this particular guidebook. It's really profound. It deals with grief, it deals with like ancestral wisdom, intergenerational kind of baggage and lessons and wisdoms, and it's a really special creation. I think we have beautiful spreads in this. It's a full color guidebook. There are spreads for each category. For each of the card, we have keywords. We have an explanation as to what is going on the card, like explaining why each element is on that collage. And finally, you have your guidance message. Really well written, full of intention, profound, very healing, and really good at meeting you where you are. I think this is a very beautiful and healing deck, specifically if you're dealing with grief, or if you want to connect with your ancestors, with your past loved ones, or with this kind of like ancestral knowledge. And as you're gonna see, this is a gorgeous collage oracle deck. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is still in print or not. Oh, that's the title card, sorry guys. Not sure if this is still in print, but this creator is making currently a new deck, or I've seen on Instagram something about new decks, so you guys will have to do your own research. But what I really like about this particular oracle is that it taps into this liminal space. It really helps you tap into this ancestral wisdom, into this past loved one kind of energy. So really great if you are trying to deal with grief, or if you're trying to tap into connecting with energies, spirits, or people who have gone through the veil. If you have any questions about generational baggage, generational lessons, ancestral wisdom, anything like that, this is a very profound deck for this kind of work. Would I use this for like career readings or love readings? Not really. For me at this moment, it's really specifically used for this kind of ancestral wisdom. I really want to use it for you guys on my second channel. Actually, I'm gonna be doing a ancestor pickup card reading soon, and we'll be using this because it's really beautiful, really profound, and very healing. I think this deck is full of compassion and intention, which is something I really appreciate about collage decks. I like when collage decks feel like they have intention as it's an art form I really enjoy, but not all collage decks are equal, and sometimes they can feel a little chaotic, which as a chaotic deck goblin myself, I'm all about. But I need my chaos to show some intention, right? I don't want chaos for the sake of chaos. I want to understand a little bit why the different elements have been put together, as obviously collage is a form of visual art in which different visual elements are combined to create a new image, to convey a message or to convey an idea. So I want to see the message or the idea conveyed in a collage. I don't want random bits and pieces put together just because it looks pretty, right? That's what I'm looking for in my collage decks, and maybe that's why I don't have as many collage decks as other form of artwork in my tarot collection, because I can be quite picky about this idea of like needing collage decks with intention. But you'll see that all the ones I present to you today, the different elements that have been combined to create a new image really are, you can tell we're so true, that there is a meaning behind it, there's an intention behind it, there's a message or an idea behind it. That's what I'm looking for when I acquire a collage or oracle or tarot. So beautiful creation here by Sasha Lopez. Another very recent addition to my tarot collection. Actually, I haven't even shared it with you guys yet, so it'll be in my next haul. My friend actually gave this to me, and this is a deck she owned, but she wasn't resonating with it anymore, so we like to trade decks sometimes. I gave her a few, she gave me a few, and this is the Sustain Yourself Oracle by James Wanless. I believe this is a creator of the Voyager Tarot, if I'm not mistaken, and this is a nature deck you're gonna see. Originally, she told me it came in a huge box, which apparently she told me was super cumbersome and ridiculous, because in the huge box, you have a tug box and you have this great guidebook. So once you actually remove all the extra packaging and stuff that you don't really need, this is what you end up with. Much easier. I don't really like huge box anyway, especially if there's a tug box inside. For me, that's perfectly enough. And this is a mass market deck. I literally had never heard of it. So when she was like, do you want this? I was like, sure, because I like to discover new decks. So it says that this is inspired by the Earth's wisdom and it's dedicating to sustaining life on Earth. So very much a nature deck, idea of sustaining yourself. So there's a whole sustainability thing. I haven't fully read the guidebook, but I've read the introduction, and it's really meant to help you connect with nature and meant to help you take care of yourself and draw inspiration, wisdom, and nourishment from nature as an example of how we can live a better life, connecting with ourselves and connecting to the other spirits and beings that surround us. So honestly, I'm so shocked I never heard of this deck, because it's everything I kind of love. You guys know I love nature decks. I love if nature is my church. That's my way of connecting to my spirituality, to spirit, God, source, the universe, whatever you guys want to call it. That's my way of connecting. I've not had this long, but the few bits I've read just feel very my vibe. So I'm excited to get to know this better. It sounds fantastic and really interesting. The one thing I didn't love when I went through it was that for the guidebook, there's definitely a lot of white space. Again, they could have probably split that guidebook in half and potentially used a little bit less paper. So, that's something that you're like, did we need this whole page of white for this tiny image and this little text? Maybe not. The card, you can see we have a little text and we have an image of what's on the card, and then we have what they call a little key. So it's a little key phrase. So please let me know if you guys have this deck, as I literally have never seen it, never heard of it, and if my friend hadn't passed it on to me, I would have probably gone through my life without knowing it exists. First up, those backs, gorgeous, love, 10 out of 10 to me, absolutely stunning. I love any kind of backing with any kind of nature references. It's beautiful. It's super chunky. We have 101 cards in this one, and for a mass market deck, I'm like, say no more, right? This is amazing. I love chunky oracle decks. It always makes me happy. I'm a greedy bitch. The more cards, the better. We have 2 keywords for each of the cards. As you can see here, we have collaboration and end. So one is just telling you what's on the card, and one is telling you what the card represents. And I don't have the Voyager Tarot by the same creator, but I've seen images, and you can can tell it's the same person who did both. They definitely feel very like bonded, right? You can tell. Again, with collage, I think people have a style that you can recognize. The ripped effect and the way the elements are juxtaposed. Juxtaposed? Is that an English word? Marine, you're just making shit up at this point, are you? I don't know. Sounds fancy. If it is an English word, I'm proud of myself. If I just made it up, you're welcome. The way the different elements are put together, I think are very reminiscent of the Voyager Tarot, which again, I don't have, but let me know, you guys. It's a deck I've always been curious about, the Voyager Tarot, so I'd love to have your opinion if any of you have that one, if you enjoy it or not. And let me know if you have this one, because again, I've never seen it before. As you can see, it's really, really specific in its like imagery, and it's really tied to nature elements. We even have things like cells and bacteria, which I think is so fun. It's very unique, and I can't wait to actually properly study this one. I think this is going to be a little bit of a deck study for me, as the guidebook there's quite a lot to get into at the beginning at least, so I want to see what the intention is. The fact that there's a chameleon card, I'm obsessed. I love chameleons. 101 card, we love that, right? What's not to love? And the whole idea of sustaining yourself, let's be real. I think this is something we all need in this at this moment in 2025. I mean, I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, obviously there's a lot going on collectively. That sucks. So I think collectively, we need this more than ever. The idea of using nature's wisdom. Oh, I love this. I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, we need this earth wisdom to help us take care of ourselves. I think that's so important. And even me in my personal life right now, I've had a terrible year of 2025. A lot of not fun and difficult and really hard days. So honestly, I feel like this is what I need right now, and I'm really, really grateful. My friend didn't resonate with that one. This is so fun. Look, freedom with horses in the sky. Yeah, I love that. Do I love every card? No, I don't think every card is my vibe, but some of them are absolutely hit, like this one. Creativity with the jungle is so cute. Quickly grow through again. If you get, oh, that's beautiful. If you guys have this one, let me know. I'd love to have your thought. And obviously, I'll come back once I've actually used this one. Oh, I love this one. So cute. I'll come back to you guys once I've properly studied and used it. And I think this is going to be a good one for journaling as well, I feel like. But there's a lot to get into this one. And I have a feeling it's one of those decks that is finding me exactly at the time that I need it. You know, that sometimes that's the way with decks. They find you at the right time. And if you can hear some snoring in the background, that is my dog Chips. She is having a good nap and snoring like a little piggy. So apologies, but she looks too comfy. I don't want to move her. Okay, let's move on to the Begin Oracle, which is one of my absolute favorite Oracle decks ever. I've had this one since 2019, I think. This was created by Stacy Jane from Little Magic Herbal Shop. I am not sure. This is one of them where I have a feeling this one might be out of print. So just putting that out there. At the time, 6 years ago, I found it on Etsy. Not sure if this is still available or not. You'll have to do your own research. But that's where I found it originally. We had 72 cards with this one. And there's a guidebook that came with this one. Huge cards. Don't get fooled by my massive orc hands. This is a chunky deck. Again, 72 card. Indie at the time I got it on Etsy. And this one is absolutely stunning. We have a lot of hands in this one and a lot of crystals, which are two of my favorite things. I love hands in art style. There's something really beautiful, I find, about hands. And there's a lot of crystal in this one, and I love working with stones, with crystal, and the combination of hands crystals, a lot of like plant medicine as well. It's just a combination of a lot of things that I appreciate. And for each card you get explanation of the keyword, but you also get a little journaling prompt. You get some references to stone for each of the card. I think there's some astrological association as well. There's a lot that's been poured into this deck. You can tell there was a lot of intention poured behind it. 3 years, I think this was my favorite Oracle deck. I think like 2019, 2020, 2021, it was unmatched. I've not used it as much this year. I need to reconnect with it, to be honest, but also to be fair, this year, again, because of a lot of physical health problem, I've not really been able to use my decks as much as I would like. So this is also probably why this has been put on the side a little bit more, but for honestly 3 years in a row, this was favorite, constantly on my table, constantly on my desk. And looking at it now, I miss it. I want to reconnect with it. I really like what the creator has to say in the guidebook, but also intuitively, I always found that I got a lot from the images. And again, there's so many stones in this that as a big crystal aficionado myself, I like when decks reference working with stones and stuff, because it's a language that I feel comfortable speaking. So that's the Begin Oracle. Moving on to French creations. If you're new here and you didn't guess from my very heavy froggy accent, I'm French. So I have a few French creations to share with you guys. This is the Mystic Healing Oracle by Line in the Moon. Line in the Moon is a French creatrix. She has a few decks out that you can get at least at the time. I got this in 2021, I think, and at the time I could get it directly on Line's website. She had a few decks. Some of them were bilingual, some of them in French, some of them in English. The Mystic Healing Oracle, we don't have a guidebook for this one, but we have keywords in English, Spanish, and French. So I always think that's fantastic when something is translated for lots of different people. This is a very intuitive deck to me, so I don't really need the guidebook anyway. Reads beautifully intuitively. So here are the back. This one, we have a mix of collage and paintings and like art from Line. So you're gonna see it's a bit of a mix, right? I didn't know if I should have included it in collage because some cards feel more collage than others. Then I decided to share it with you because why not, right? It's beautiful, and I wanted to shout out this French creator whose decks are always full of intention, a kind soul. So we in this one have again a mix between Line's own original art style and some cards that feel a little bit more collage. I love to use this one intuitively. I used to use this one quite a bit when I was doing pick-up pile reading because it was very intuitive. And again, there's a good balance of keywords. So here we have fear, we have struggle, but then you have more hopeful cards like allies and partnership and taking care. So really well balanced. Some cards are horizontal landscape, some are portrait style. That doesn't bother me, but I know that might bother some people. So just putting that out there. I love this one. This is one of my favorite cards. And yeah, this is one I used to use a lot back in 2021, 2022. Super intuitive and easy to read with. There's a separate category in this deck, which is called mothers. So here, for example, we have Mother of Bees, and those are more linked to divine feminine archetypes. So we had Mother of Bees, I think we had Mother of Milk, we had Mother of Corn, and they relate to different like goddess energy and divine feminine archetype. So if you like to work with those energies, this is also potentially one that might interest you. The last two oracle decks I wanted to share with you guys before we move on to tarot are two French mass market decks by French creators. So let's get into it. First one, we have one of my most used decks ever. I constantly use this one. The Oracle Aromatique by Lucie Christian is a essential oil / plant-based deck. There are 36 cards in this one, and if you guys have ever booked a paid reading with me, or if you watch my pick-up pile reading, you most likely have seen this deck at some point because I use this a lot. Here are the backs. I actually had to edge my copy in purple because it was getting so beat up. The main reason why I use this one so much is because, well, first it's beautiful. We have the collage art of people and plants on the background of more like cosmic style, and I really like the fact that all the people here come from different backgrounds. We have different ethnicities, which for a collage deck that uses kind of older images is not as common. That's something that I feel like potentially we're missing a little bit in terms of collage decks that are using vintage images. I don't know how you would call that. Ethnicity diversity is not something super common. This one does a beautiful job, so I appreciate it. Again, it's based on plants and essential oils, specifically plants that smell, because the oracle aromatic, literally the aromatic oracle, so it's linked to the sense of smell. I love this one because all of the plants are actually very close to me and local to me. We have vanilla, we have patchouli, we have ylang ylang. Those are all plants that I can find in my walks in my mom's garden. A lot of the plants in this one are actually local to my tropical environment, which is not easy necessarily for me to find in plant decks. Eucalyptus is also very common here. So I love the fact that a lot of the plants I can actually find on my walks when I get outside my front door, right? On top of that, the guidebook is fantastic. For each of the plants, obviously you have a message about what it means. So here the lotus is linked to spirituality. So you get your message about a bit more about the lotus. You get your like guidance message, but you also get a stone, and it links each card with other cards from the deck. So for example, this deck, it tells you like this plant gets along with this one and this one. For those of you who like to diffuse essential oil and maybe like to mix scents and stuff, it's really cool. I use this deck a lot. Like I love to give people a plant or essential oil they can work with if they feel called to, and because these are very like smelly. I don't know how you call that. They smell good, but they're very like they're all scent. It's something that's easy to work with. Even for people who don't know how to work with things, they can just literally diffuse it or smell it or find a perfume or something with that scent. It's easy to work with those plants in that way. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge. Mass market French deck I wanted to show you guys is L'Oracle Botanique des Divinités by Iris Elinac. Literally the botanical oracle of divinities. And this is a deck that links plants with divinities, specifically Greek mythology figures and gods and goddesses. And again, I don't know if this is strictly collage. I mean, we do have older images collaged with plants and backgrounds, so I'm not sure you would actually put this in the collage category, but here we are, you guys. I'm not an art expert. Some of you might get annoyed because you might say it's not a collage deck. I wanted to share it today. So here we go. To me, it feels a little bit collage because we do have a collage of like people and plants on the background, but some of you might call this digital manipulation. I don't know. Here we are. I'm sharing it now, so we're committing mixes plants or fruits or trees with a Greek mythology archetype or figure. So here we have Atlas, and it's always linked to a keyword. So here we have Atlas, apple, and responsibility. Another one, for example, might be Achilles with Achillea and vulnerability, Aphrodite with rose and love. Very specific to Greek mythology, very dense kind of oracle, not the easiest oracle to use if you don't speak French. Absolutely terrifying card. I hate that card. This is linked to Phobos. Terrifying. We have Selene with the peonies and intuition, and the guidebook is, I was telling you guys, very dense. So not the easiest guidebook to translate. So for each of the cards, you have black and white images, you have some keyword, but then you actually have quotes from ancient Greek text. So you have Homer. Already this is like French translation of ancient Greek text, maybe not the easiest to translate then back to English. And then obviously you have a message about the person depicted. So here, who is Aphrodite? What is the rose in terms of like energy and where it comes from? And then you have your message as to like what the card means for you in a card pool, in a reading. And then you always have a planet, you have a stone, you have an element, and you have a color. So this is very dense, very well written guidebook, just maybe not the most accessible for people who don't speak French. But again, if you're willing to use Google Translate, you absolutely can. Obviously, you do you, boo. I'm just putting out there the information. And for my French readers out there who enjoy Greek mythology and plants, this is wonderful. Okay, let's move on to tarot deck. I have some indie, some mass market, and a couple of out-of-print decks. So let's get into it. We have a lot to get into. The first one I wanted to share is one of my absolute favorite when it comes to collage tarot decks, and that is the Lioness Oracle Tarot. This is an indie deck by Alejandra Leon. This was a beautiful gift from the lovely Gigi. Thank you so much, Gigi, if you're watching. I'm sending you so many hugs. So this was a beautiful gift, and I adore it so much. I think this one is fairly popular in the community. In terms of tarot decks with collage, this one is quite striking and I'm pretty sure fairly popular for good reason. It carries its name really well with the lioness, because you're going to see there's a lot of lions in this deck. This deck is a Leo through and through. The guidebook is in black and white. I have some keywords for both majors and minors. It's, you know, simple but straight to the point, good enough for sure. I like to use this one intuitively anyway because I find that the collage artwork is really beautiful in this and full of intention. Gorgeous backs, potentially some of my most beautiful backings in my collection. I absolutely adore them. I think they're absolutely stunning. All those roses and lions are the main theme of this deck you're gonna see, and cats in general, felines. So this is why to me it feels like a Leo, this deck. It feels like a summer deck, feels like a fiery deck in energy, right? I have different collage decks that feel like they're linked to different elements. This one absolutely feels like a fiery deck. I think this is a fairly popular one when it comes to collage decks. I've seen it a lot in the community. I know this creator has also done a couple of oracle deck, one that's more a general oracle and one that is linked to astrology. They both look absolutely stunning. Maybe one day I will acquire them, and I would recommend this one for people who are looking for a collage deck that doesn't feel too busy. I don't know, this is something that sometimes people feel a little bit reticent about collage decks, is that sometimes they can feel too busy, too maximalist, too crazy. I love that personally, but you know, I'm a maximalist at heart, but I can understand that that's not for everyone. Out of all of my collage decks I'm going to share with you today, this is probably one of the most pared down when it comes to art and elements. So there's not a ton of things on the card, but that actually helps you to narrow it down exactly to what is on the card. So fewer elements potentially, but more clear and definitely with a lot of intention. If you're looking for a collage deck that isn't too busy, this would be a great option in my personal opinion. I feel like this is a fantastic reader for everything. I've done past life reading with this, I've done spiritual reading with this, I've done relationships reading with this, career. I've used this for pretty much any kind of reading you can think of. It's a really good reader for me, very versatile deck. One of those that if I'm reading for someone else and they want a collage deck, I feel very comfortable using. Never had a bad reading with this. It always seems to be very on point, straight to the point, very clear. I mean, come on, how beautiful is this? Feels very lush, right? And for me, it feels very summery. I don't know why. Let me know, you guys, if you have this deck, if you find that similar connection to this kind of like fire. There's obviously big theme of divine feminine as well with all of the roses. Really beautiful. So, oh, there we go. I'm starting to shake, you guys. So we have to leave them on the card. It's okay. I love the Hanged Woman. Beautiful card, one of my favorite. The Death card is really powerful in this one. It has an actual like older skull. I think we've passed it already. The one that I find myself reaching for very often in my collection, doing all sorts of readings with this one, that is the Lioness Oracle Tarot. Let's talk about a mass market option now. We have the Rosabelle Tarot. Originally this was indie, I think, and then it was picked up mass market last year or the year before. I'm not sure, but not that long ago. It's picked up by Harper and Stillwell. I don't think I have any other decks by them. Oh, it's part of Wiser Books. Okay, so Wiser picked this up. Originally created by Amanda Stillwell and Diana Rose Harp. This is a queer deck, if I'm not mistaken, queer creation. Again, beautiful backs. I love a good backing, you guys. I love a good back, sounds really wrong. I don't want to get demonetized. I love a good deck backs, okay? Don't make me say something I didn't mean. But another beautiful, beautiful deck backing. And this is a collage deck that actually uses elements from vintage photography, like older pictures, things like that, which is something I'm always a little bit wary about, as sometimes the images that are used in those collage style decks that are older images, sometimes when you actually look up those images and where they come from, they can have background stories that are not so nice, if I can say that. And also something I found is that generally speaking, minus some exceptions like this one, collage decks that uses older pictures, older photography, tend to like ethnicity, diversity, different gender representations and things like that, which is important to me to have in my decks. This one does a beautiful job though at representing different kind of people, different kind of ages, different ethnicities. And again, this is a queer creation, very inclusive when it comes to collage deck, and it's mass market now, so we love to see it. The one thing that I'm struggling with this deck, and I knew I would, honestly, is the renamings. Oh, there's a lot of renamings. You can see I've put it back in order. Some of the majors have been renamed. The majors are okay. It's not too crazy. It's when it comes to the court cards that I'm struggling, that I think I'm going to end up just writing on the cards what it is, because I struggle with brain fog, you guys. And I don't know why, when it comes to renamings of tarot cards, specifically court cards, my brain cannot process that information. It's like my brain just doesn't want to make that effort, right? Like I can have brain power for a lot of different things, but when it comes to renamed court cards, if it's not page, knight, queen, and king, brain rot. I literally just lose 50 brain cells and start to stare at the card like, what the fuck is going on? So I really struggle with renamings, I've noticed. It's something that if I use a deck that have completely changed the court cards, I'm having to give myself little cheat sheets every time I use it. So that's one thing I need to do actually, which is why I put it back in order. I need to just write on the card what it's going to be, because look, and I know some of you are going to be like, Marine, it's not that hard. We have curiosity for the page, velocity for the knight, generosity for the queen, and sovereign for the king. I know it's not that hard, okay? And on top of that, like I know the knight is on the horse, and it's not that hard, but it's still too hard for me right now. So I don't want to make my life any harder than it is, so I need to write on the card actually, P for page and stuff like that. Other than that though, we have a beautiful representation, like I said, beautiful inclusive deck, gorgeous collage style, really great guidebook. I'll show you guys in a bit. Again, this is one that feels full of intention. To mass market collage decks, this is one of the better options, I would say. I have another queer deck to show you guys that I really love. This one feels more colorful and bright, and the other one has a little bit less renaming, so I've noticed myself using the other one more, and I feel like if I can bond with it a little bit more, this is one I could see using myself a lot for specifically reading for others. So I just need to make the effort of adapting the deck to my own stupidity. But apart from that, it's a really beautiful creation and just gorgeous collage work. In terms of the guidebook, it's beautifully written. For the majors, we have poems, we have upward and reversed keywords, and then for the minors, we have a little bit less, but still a beautiful writing. I think, for example, for let's say the Ace of Air, so Ace of Sword, crystalline sharpness clarifies as it cuts, deleting detritus, revealing truth. They feel like little haikus almost, and I really like this. So beautiful creation. I just need again to make a little bit more of an effort to bond with it, but I know this is a favorite. I think again in the community, let me guys know if you guys have this one. Let's talk about an out of print deck that is from one of my favorite tarot creators out there. We have the Rosabelle Tarot by Hyena from Spolia Tarot. I love all of Hyena's decks. If you guys are French speakers, you probably know her. She has 2 channels, Spolia Tarot, where she does pickup high readings. She does content like teaching tarot, relating tarot to pop culture, lots of amazing videos talking about tarot history and all of that. But I absolutely adore everything she does, and I'm so grateful that she actually sent this one to me at the time, because it's beautiful, and this is one I use a lot. So let me show you Hyena's links. I will make sure to leave her page down below. Definitely go and follow her, because she is one of the best people sharing tarot content out there, to be honest. Fantastic teacher, fantastic tarot creator. So the Rosabelle Tarot is a tarot deck that Hyena created at the time after she went to LA. So there's actually a lot of inspiration here from like Hollywood and old Hollywood stars and things like that, which is so fun. And this is a mix of collage with a little bit of AI use. I think she used AI to like tie things together. So this is my only like deck when it comes to collage that mixes the process of collage with AI. I don't have any other collage decks like this that have this mix of like, traditional collage with AI use, but I love for this one the old Hollywood inspiration, and I love the color schemes that Hyena has chosen, because I don't know, the colors are quite bright, but also almost look like an old camera filter, and it's just really pleasing to me aesthetically, this one, and I find it reads beautifully. I use this one a lot for myself actually. It's the deck I constantly go back to when I read for myself. Again, one that feels very fiery, fiery. That is great for summertime for me, where I live, which is like most of the time on the tropical island I live on. Feels very much like a fiery deck, a summer deck, and I just really enjoy this one, particularly for my own personal use. I have used it for you guys on my Pick a Pile channel before, I'm sure. I should bring it back out again because it's really beautiful and very sweet, this one. This might be the sweetest I think she's created in terms of the energy. Feels very kind and gentle. Her other ones are, some of them are more punchy, or more like giving that sharpshooter kind of vibe. I think this one feels very sweet in energy, and this is my favorite card. I just love this Knight of Pentacles. So sadly this is now out of print, but I still wanted to share it with you guys for the joy of enjoying the art. I had to rank my collage decks. I think this would be number 2. I'll share with you number 1 in a bit, but this is, I think, my second favorite collage decks that I own. Just, we have bonded with this one so strongly. I remember the first time I read with this one, I literally pulled the Magician straight away, and it just was an instant bond with this deck and I. So I love pulling it for myself. It's always been there for me, reads beautifully, and it's a joy. And this is another one of my favorite cards, the Six of Pentacles. I love this old man carrying gifts. There's something so sweet about him. I just love it. I've just mentioned that this is probably my second favorite, so let's just share with you my favorite. Why wait? Life is too short. I'll just share with you now my favorite collage tarot deck in my collection. That is the Telesma Tarot. This is an indie deck, and pretty sure this is still in print. It's a beast, right? If you guys don't like large decks, you're not gonna love this one. It's chunky. You can see much bigger, longer, and larger. I have large orc hands. I always joke on my channel, so I love large decks anyway, but just putting it out there, for those of you who don't enjoy them, this is not the one for you. We have those golden edges that you can see. Mine is starting to look like it's seen better days. I have used this deck so much. Like, this is one of my most used decks in my collection. I've had this for, I would say, 3 or 4 years now, maybe 4 now, yeah. And so I use it a lot, so it's not looking too bad, but it's starting to chip, which is okay. I mean, those kind of edging anyway tend to do that after a while. And this is absolutely my all-time favorite tarot collage deck. Ever since I've had this, we have bonded a lot, but if I really had to keep only one, would be it. This would be it, hands down. There is no doubt, because I just really love it. This Lana Del Rey, Queen of Swords, with the cut head of her, I'm guessing, lover, is such a vibe that it's just big mood, big mood. So this one is busy. It's maximalist. I was telling you guys the Lioness or Tarot is a little bit more on the minimalist side of collage deck. This one is the opposite. It's bold, it's vibrant, it's in your face. There's so much. Every time you use this, you see more and more details, and yet every single time I use it, I get fantastic readings. I notice something else. There's just something very powerful about this deck, very fierce. Again, this is a fire deck. This absolutely is a fire deck. Feels bold, fierce, confident, in your face, and I love that, right? This is one I love to use for Aries season, Leo season, Sagittarius season, for summertime, or anytime I feel like I need to relight my inner fire. I love working with fire energy anyway. I need it, to be honest. I need it to help me get through all my physical health struggles. I think if I couldn't tap into that inner fire, I wouldn't be able to deal with all the physical health challenge I'm having to deal with. But sometimes when I feel like my inner fire has been dimmed, when I feel like my inner light is not shining so bright, this is one of those decks that helps me rekindle it, and I'm so grateful for it. It's actually a toss-based deck, which is not my preferred system, and yet I don't even care because I love it so much. Just absolutely gorgeous. This is more of a, again, soul connection, something that is not quite put into words. It's a feeling almost, and this one really is. I just really adore it. Let's do one more. We have Princess of Coins. So yeah, you can see the toss inspiration in the court card. Instead of Temperance, we have art. For the guidebook full text, no images. We have the titles are linked to Aleister Crowley's title from Thoth, and then we have keywords, key phrases, both for majors and for minor arcana. I don't really refer the guidebook anymore, to be honest. I kind of read it fully intuitively, but I'm glad that it's there. So this is the Talisman Tarot. 11 out of 10 all-time favorites. Obsessed with this one. Let's talk about mass market option. The Uncommon Tarot by Shaheen Miro and commentary by Teresa Reed. Another queer creation, so we love to see that. Actually, when it comes to collage decks, when I'm reading for other people, if I'm not using the Lioness Oracle for other people, I'm picking up the Uncommon Tarot when it comes to collage, because it just loves to chat. This is a chatty deck. It loves to chat, and it's just great for everything. This is a really versatile deck, I would say. Definitely a workhorse in my collection. One thing I never understood are those backings. Considering the fronts are so vibrant and busy, you're gonna see the backs really, to me anyway, don't feel like a match, but you know, it's I guess a detail. We have silver edging. Considering this I've had for years and I've used a ton, it's actually holding really well. Like, I'm very surprised by how well this is holding, because I've beaten this deck up. Okay, this deck and we've been everywhere. I've taken this to friends, I've taken this outside, I've taken this to the beach, because it's mass market. It's on this kind of like easy to shuffle cardstock. You're reading for someone else and they want a collage deck. I will either use the Lioness Oracle or I'll use this one. I've done career reading with this, love readings, day-to-day readings, spiritual readings. This does it all, honestly. And I love that there's diversity in this one. Like, we have different ages, different skin tones. I love that it was created by a queer creator. You know, it's always something I like to support, even though I'm not queer myself. A lot of my friends are, so I like to use decks that are created by queer people. And it's beautiful. I love the mix of all the elements are beautiful. I love the mix of like older kind of style with more recent images. There's a lot of botanicals in this deck. And again, the colors are a little bit more muted, right, than the one I was showing you, the other mass market option, which was Rosebud Tarot. Compared to the Rosebud Tarot, this one feels a lot more muted when it comes to color scheme. So this one, potentially, if I had to give it a season, it's great for like autumn, winter, and it feels a little bit more linked to more like cups and water. If I had to give it an element, it feels a little bit more linked to emotions and cups and that element. But again, I've done readings for many different themes and it's wonderful for anything really. This is a pure workhorse. I've used it a ton, and every time I use it for people, they really enjoy it. This is a crowd pleaser. I can't really tell you why, but people really love it. Potentially because there's so many different kind of people represented in this one. So maybe people feel like they can feel seen, which is wonderful. I know this creator also has a Lenormand mass market one, which is huge. So that's the only reason why I haven't picked it up. And if you want to get into the collage art style, this is one I absolutely recommend because it's mass market. It's really great. I think it's hugely underrated, and yet for me, it always delivers. Let's talk about an out of print option now. This is the Spolia Tarot. This is the second edition, sadly now out of print. I got this back in 2019, I think, when it was still in print. But now I've seen it go for crazy prices. Like, some people have no shame. I've seen it go for crazy prices. But I mean, if people are willing to pay that much for tarot decks, each to their own. At the time, I paid like regular indie price for it. I think maybe $40-50 at the time. It was coming from Canada. This is a Minchiate inspired deck because we have elements. So earth, air, fire, and water card, and we also have the astrological signs. And I actually love to use those cards when I do my astrological readings, to put them on the side so people know it's their sign, because I think they're beautiful. So I love you to use those astrological cards, and I'm so glad that they have added them because it's probably part of the deck I use the most, even though I also really like this one. Now I'm thinking of it potentially Talisman number 1, the Rosabelle Tarot number 2, and maybe this one as number 3 in terms of my favorite, equal with the Uncommon Tarot, I would say, for my ranking. There you go. I'm just ranking them as we go along. This is beautiful, and I use this a lot. I've used this for myself, I've used this for other people, for friends, clients, all of that. And this one I would say feels more at home in the realm of swords or pentacles. It's a really good one to do readings, either like specifically fortune telling, divination. I find it loves to do that. Your head reading, months ahead reading, things like that, or decks related or readings related to the material world. Also, obviously, everything I'm telling you is very personal and biased, right? So take everything I say with a grain of salt. These are my personal interpretation and my personal like connection with the deck. Just because I feel like a deck is more this or that doesn't mean you would bond with it that way. I'm just sharing you how I feel. But this one I have found really shines with readings related to the material world, pentacle kind of readings, or swords. So this is another collage deck that reuses a lot of older images, older engravings, and it feels a little bit alchemical as well in essence, which I really appreciate. The one thing I should mention is that it has one of the weirdest cardstock. It is huge. The cardstock is so thick. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very, very thick. And it feels like cardboard. It actually feels like cardboard. Like you could never refill shuffle this, or you're gonna bend the card into and probably tear it. It's very stiff. Not one for refill shuffling. For those of you who only shuffle this way, you would hate this. And very thick and sturdy, kind of stiff cardstock. However, it's absolutely stunning. And the guidebook for this one is fantastically written. It's one of those little white books, but it is one of the best written guidebooks I've ever read in my life. Always want to mention it when people ask me about guidebooks, but because this is out of print, I never can. And yet, if you guys have this deck and you've never read the guidebook, you are hugely missing out. The writing in this one is profound, poetic, beautiful, and feels honestly channeled. It's one of the best guidebooks I've read. And you'd look at it and you wouldn't think it's anything special, but the medicine in there is amazing. Let's talk about a French indie deck. This is the Hyena Tarot by Manufacture des Merveilles. This one has 81 cards, as we have a couple of extra majors on Manufacture des Merveilles, which is a brand like indie creators. They have a couple of oracle decks. They have one tarot. They also sell stones and occult kind of paraphernalia. I don't think I've shared this deck a lot on my channel. I might have shared it only once potentially. Here are the backs, and this is one where I'm like, I'm not 100% sure you would consider it collage. So again, some cards feel more collagey than others. When I went through it, I mean, some do really feel like collage art style, you know, so I decided to share it. If you don't think this is collage, please forgive me. You know, you just get to see more decks, so it's not that big a deal. Again, maybe this is more digital manipulation than collage, but some cards feel like they have collage on them, so it's a bit of a mix. This one is called the Hyena Tarot because it is meant to be linked to dreams. So it's originally created to be studying dreams, translating your dreams, which I've actually used it for that, and it was good. But I also love to use this for day-to-day readings. This one I know originally was meant for dreams, and I think it's really unique the way that wands or the cups, etc., are put in the middle instead of at the bottom. I don't have any other deck that does that. So here we have the 6 of Wands, here we have the 4 of Swords, here we have the 8 of Cups. So it's quite unique for me. I don't have any other deck that has, you know, this particular design and setup. It's quite graphic, and it also means that this is very clear. When you read with this one, it feels very clear and a bit of a sharpshooter, this one. This one is great for like, I have a quick question, I pull a few cards out and I automatically get my answers. Because of the way it's set up, the choices of images and stuff, it feels very clear. One that's great for like, for me personally, day to day, you know, you have a quick question, you want a quick answer, you don't want to be sitting with your cards for ages, you don't really need to be journaling for ages, you need to know what's the tea, pull a few cards and off you go. One that I never see people mention because it's a French creation, but even if you don't speak French, you can see 2 of Pentacles, there's 2 Pentacles. You'll have no problem using this. It's quite bright in colors, quite bold. There's a separate guidebook you could buy to go with this one. I didn't feel like I needed to, so I didn't. Always like to support French creators. This is one I don't show enough. I'm realizing I need to bring a lot of these decks out for my makeup pile reading. This is good to do those collection videos. I'm realizing there's a lot of decks I want to use for you guys. We have 2 decks left by 2 of my favorite collage girlies, and both of them are on tarotube. We have Rosabelle from Rosabelle Tarot and Chanel from Chanel's Day. So I'll make sure to leave their Instagram or YouTube down below. They are both fantastic creatrix. I really appreciate their art, and both of them put their decks on Make Playing Cards or MPC. If you don't know what Make Playing Cards is, I've done a whole video sharing with you my whole MPC collection. It's a print-on-demand website where people put their creation and you can literally print it on demand. I'll leave it in the cards. I've done a whole video explaining to you my collection and little tips on how to use the website because it's a little bit hard to navigate. I wanted to finish with them because I really appreciate both of their creativity and they're both really lovely girls. So let's start with Rosabelle's deck, the Sistine Tarot. Sadly, this particular one is out of print, but Rosabelle has done a lot of other decks. So if you like this vibe, you will enjoy her other creations. She's just released a beautiful collage deck that is called the Blue Tones Oracle, which I really want. It's all in these blue tones, as the name suggests. I haven't gotten it yet because since the new tariff, shipping with Make Playing Cards has gone crazy to ship to where I live. I'm gonna wait for Christmas time to order a few decks at once to kind of justify the shipping cost, but I really want Rosabelle's latest Oracle deck. It's called the Blue Tones. You guys can look it up. It looks amazing. This was a deck that she released last year, the Sistine Tarot, in numbers. So this one is out of print, but she has other wonderful collage creations. So definitely go and check her out. Here are the backs. This is another one that's a little bit Minchiata inspired. Rosabelle's decks are all gorgeous, and she's a very prolific, creative, and talented collage artist. So if you like this, definitely go and check out her other creations. She has oracle decks. I think right now she's working also on a tarot deck that is inspired by snakes and the archetype of the serpent, which looks beautiful. Again, all of her decks are on MPC or Make Playing. I'm gonna have to wait for the end of the year and try and order a few decks at once to justify the shipping costs. I know a lot of us are struggling with now with the shipping costs have gone crazy. It doesn't matter where you live. I mean, I live on a little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean and it's bad, but I mean, even my friends who are in France or the US are saying it's bad. Rosabelle's decks are always full of intention. This one specifically is the Sistine Tarot Spiritual in Essence, and one that I think goes beautifully with the When Olga Speaks Oracle I shared with you earlier, because it's another one that for me taps into that ancestral wisdom, beyond the veil kind of energy. It wasn't meant for purchase originally, but she has created many other beautiful decks for us. So if you like the vibe of this one, you will like her other decks. It feels quite spiritual in essence, so that's how I've been using it personally. Not one I've used for other people, I must say. I've kept this one for my own personal use so far, but I mean, I definitely could use it for other people as well. The time or readings haven't felt like it called for that, but for my own personal practice, I've really enjoyed my time with this one. So I'll make sure to leave Rosabelle's details in the description box so you can check out her other creations. And we're gonna finish with another one of my favorite tarot girlies who does beautiful collage deck with the Limerence Tarot by Chanel from Chanel's Day. So Chanel has a tarot channel, I'll leave it down below. Her decks she also puts on Make Playing Cards. She has a few decks out. This is the Limerence Tarot. We don't have a guidebook with this one, but we have key cards. Totally enough for me. And again, Chanel is a very prolific and creative collage creator. She has wonderful collage decks for us. This is one of her latest one, the Limerence Tarot, which I picked up on MPC earlier this year, and I absolutely adore it. I've been really enjoying it. It has been one of my most used decks. For super easy to read with. I don't know, I've really bonded with this one. I'm really enjoying it. So I don't know if Chanel, if you're watching, but if you are, I'm sending you big hugs. Thank you so much for sharing your creation with us, because they are beautiful and again full of intention. What I like about the Limerence Tarot from Chanel is that the collage is really unique. We have a mix of modern elements with more historical elements, and it feels very striking, a very vibrant mix of modern elements and more historical art style, engraving. When you do a spread and you have all those cards together, it's very striking. I have noticed that Chanel's decks are very striking, are quite bold. I think, or at least I've noticed. That's how I interpret them, and I really like that. I vibe with that a lot. So I really like what Chanel has done here. I think this is, I love the bold colors. There's an element of graphic design here, which is vibrant. There's a mix of textures, a mix of colors, a mix of inspiration, which is really cool. And I don't have any other collage decks like this one. Eclectic energy that is tied together, the same intention. Just something about Chanel's art that I very much vibe with, and this has been a joy to read with recently. You guys, we're gonna finish on this because I'm starting to flare up and I need to lie down, but if you enjoyed this look into my collage deck collection, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, you can like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Those are all free ways to support my work. Let me know if you enjoy this little tarot collection series. Until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes. Keep navigating the waves of your soul, and speak to you soon, internet. Bye!